Hey, comic lovers, EMoney, the Old Man, and Thor the Dog of Thunder with you again at our weekly garage sale. And as you can see, Thor's in much better spirits than he was last week, right?
It's not as hot, is it?
Yeah, much nicer today. And today is a special day for Thor here, right? Because today Thor is 1 year old. Yeah, happy birthday, buddy. Happy birthday.
No
yeah.
You're not a kid no more.
And as a special treat, we have a little something for Thor. Yeah, he doesn't know, does he? Yeah. We got some doggy cupcakes.
Oh, looky there. You don't want a snack, you get ready to get a cupcake. But here.
Let's see how he likes these.
Well, you sure put your hand on me when you want another snack, don't you?
You like it?
I don't think he's real sure about it yet.
This is just like with the ice cream. Like, gonna do it slowly at first.
Yay!
Yeah. All right. So while he enjoys that, we got some good comic books to review this week. It was the week of indies, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah, it was a lot of the great comic books from the indie circuits that the Old Man and I enjoy. We got Spectre and Spectres, we got Redemption, a lot of other great stuff, and a few Marvels. I strangely, no DCs this week.
Well, DC didn't ship a lot this week. It was the 5th Wednesday of the month. And that's a lot of time for the big two. They kind of chillax a little bit.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we got those to review, and we have our previews for comic books for next week. And wouldn't you know it, I have a special Thor-related Stump the Old Man question in honor of Thor's birthday.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
Wait, hey. Would you like a cupcake? You didn't act all excited like I thought you would. Oh well, you ate it.
All right, so somewhere out there right now, there's a young old man, an older old man, and a crocodile old man doing this exact same thing. This is Back Issues.
He watches way too much TV.
All right, comic lovers. So before we get started today, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, turn on your notifications, give us a thumbs up, and if you like, leave us a comment. Let us know what you think about these comics. All right, so before we get into our top 3, we have a few honorable mentions, I guess, or ones we just wanted to...
Stuff we want to talk about.
Stuff we wanted to comment on.
All right, so first up, Amazing Spider-Man, The Crimson Conspiracy, Giant Size...
The Chameleon Conspiracy.
All right, starting over.
All right.
We want to talk about Giant Size, Amazing Spider-Man, The Chameleon Conspiracy, #1.
All right.
What did I call it?
The Crimson Conspiracy.
There ain't no crimson involved.
No.
Chameleon.
Okay.
All right, anyway.
All right, so now, full disclosure, we may not have been the best ones to judge this issue because we hadn't read anything that was leading up to this, so we didn't really know a lot of what was going on in this issue.
For example, when did Peter Parker have a sister?
News to me.
I didn't know he had a sister.
I mean, that's cool. I mean, I had no problem with that.
I don't begrudge the guy having a sister, but it would have been nice after, what are we talking about, 60 years of Spider-Man that we would have known something like that?
Yeah, so that was one thing. And a lot of the characters involved, we didn't really know who they were. And also the whole, Chameleon family and all that stuff and the organization, didn't know about it. So maybe we weren't the best judges, but I mean, still all right.
It was a good book.
A little bit too much jibber jabber for my taste, but like I said, we didn't know what was going on. So we gave it 3 shields out of 5 for the Chameleon Conspiracy.
Yeah, I mean, so that is what I would consider a slightly above average comic book.
Right.
So good job.
All right, there you go. So next up,
from Image, a book that we've been following since it first came out, crossover, and that is issue #7.
All right, so this issue is, it kind of takes a break from the main story. It's sort of a little side story. So years ago, a creator by the name of Chip Darsky, he went meta and put himself into his own comic book. So in this issue, it's about the real him meeting his comic book version of himself. So it's like he went double meta in this issue.
So have I ever told you the story of how I broke the ice with Bernie Wrightson when I met him in Baltimore?
I'm sure you have.
I brought up how he put himself and a couple other creator friends of his in a Batman comic book, and they fought Killer Moth. I brought that up. He laughed, said he couldn't remember. He didn't believe anybody would remember that. And next thing I know, I'm sitting down having a beer with Bernie Wrightson.
All right.
But at any rate.
So this guy, Darsky, he is being pursued, he thinks, by one of his own creations. And, you know, when you're a creator and you give your creation like a tragic backstory or something like that, you find out you were created by somebody, you're probably going to be pissed about it.
I wouldn't be happy.
Yeah. So that's kind of what's happening here, and his comic book counterpart is trying to save him. It's a mess. Now,
but a fun mess. I like it.
And one thing about this issue is, you know, I'm not familiar with a lot of Image characters, so the characters who pop up at the very end of the issue when it's supposed to be this big reveal, I don't know who they are.
I didn't either. So if any of y'all read crossover and you know who that big reveal is at the end of the book, tell us in the comments. I'd like to know who that is.
All right. So crossover number 7 ended up with 3.5.
3.5.
3.5 shields out of 5.
All right. Next up, from Bad Idea, Eniac.
All right.
Number 4?
Yeah, I think it's number 5, actually. No, it's number 4. I'm sorry. Yeah. All right, so Eniac. So the way this story starts out in this issue is, you know, you don't know how it's going to end well. You figure it's going to be one of those movies.
How it could end well.
You figure it's going to be one of those stories where everybody loses in the end. And I don't want to spoil it, but it doesn't go the way you think it's going to go.
It's worth a read.
Yeah. So, you know, and artwork, pretty great, in my opinion. And, yeah, I think it wraps it up in a pretty neat bow, this conclusion to the story. So
3.5 shields.
3.5 shields out of 5 for Eniac number 4.
Now, next, we have, I don't remember if we reviewed this when issue 1 came out. This is from Scout Comics. It's issue number 2 of Midnight Western Theater, which, to be honest, it's got the word Western in it. So when I first saw it, I decided I was going to pick that up.
All right. Well, this story is not a bad story, not bad artwork. I did have one problem with it, was the choice in font and size of font in the comic book, because, you know, for a lot of the dialogue, I found myself doing this.
Well, the dialogue for everybody else is fine, but the main character's sidekick, for loss of a better word, anytime that person talked, I thought they were whispering.
Yep.
Because it was smaller, darker, harder to make out.
Even right now, trying to make out what he's saying here, I was like, I have to really squint to do it. So, bad choice, my opinion, by the publisher, writer, whoever it was involved in this. But, like I said, story's not bad, and I enjoyed it for the most part. Just wish I didn't have to squint so much.
Yep.
So,
And
that ended up with
3.5.
3.5 out of 5 for Midnight Western Theater. All right, so there's our 4 honorable mentions for this week. So now we get into our top 3 comic books for the week.
All right, so this time we actually have 3 in the top 3.
Yeah?
There was a tie, but it was for the first and second spot. So number 3, coming in at 4 shields, only it was rounded from 3.75 to 4, is the United States of Captain America number 1. Now let's face it, I'm a big Captain America fan, so a number 1, I'm probably going to pick that up.
All right, so in this story, Steve gets attacked by another guy who seems to be dressed up like he was, or at least an old school version of him. and he takes something that belongs to him. And along the way, Cap and Falcon meet another guy who calls himself a different version of Captain America. And Steve and Sam find out that there are several, like a whole network of Captain Americas out there, like people who have been inspired by Captain America, and they, make some, homemade makeshift version of his costume and go on their own crusade. Think of it like a unofficial Captain America Incorporated around the country.
And we've seen Cap go on walkabout to discover America before. He took that Harley out one time and just rode it across America.
Yeah.
And this is a similar thing. I think he's going to tour the country trying to meet these people. And it's a good story.
Curious to see where he goes with it. All right, so United States of Captain America #1 ended up with 4 shields out of 5.
All right, so first and second place were 4 shields without being rounded up. So it was a tie, and as always, EMoney and the old man have some sort of competition. Last week it was checkers, where I didn't realize or didn't remember that he had a decided advantage because of all of the checker games he played with his great-grandfather when he was young. Well, so when we picked this week's competition, we went with Go Fish. I don't think EMoney had ever played Go Fish before. So the old man had the edge, and the old man made EMoney go fish. At any rate, I won, so I got to decide the order of the top 2. Well, to be honest, I think EMoney probably would have done it the same way. But number 2, from Image Comics, the Civil War supernatural story called 2 Moons, and this was issue number 5.
All right, so this is sort of a conclusion to this story here, where a standoff between the monsters and the soldiers takes place, and pretty great stuff in that scene. And then later, it's sort of, when people come back from a war or battle, and they're telling stories about monsters or aliens or whatever. I mean, what's the human reaction to anything like that without evidence? Like, they're crazy, they were hallucinating.
For sure.
Yeah, they were seeing things. You're making stuff up, you're a big liar, any number of ways they explain it away. So, by the end of the comic, 2 Moons gives the townspeople something to believe in. And I kind of got a kick out of the way he did it. So
I enjoyed it.
Yeah. So 2 Moons, number 5, conclusion, 4 shields out of 5.
Now, that might be the all we see of redemption. I mean, of 2 Moons.
2 Moons.
And unless they do what I'm hoping they do.
I mean, continue it or make it into a show?
I'll take either one.
Okay.
All right, so I kind of spoiled the number 1 book by mentioning it just now, but if you've been following this channel, you know how much EMoney and I have appreciated the book from AWA called Redemption. And this was 5 of a 5-part series.
All right, so in this story, it's the conclusion. I mean, this one, they might continue this, but this one is definitely supposed to be the end. It's number 5 out of 5. So not so unique in the overall story. It's that the hero,
it's a Western.
Yeah, the hero confronts the big bad who's oppressing the town. I mean, not such a unusual Western trope, but it doesn't make it any less exciting.
No, it's great.
Yeah, so great stuff here with the Linda Hamilton character, the Butcher, and we reach the epic conclusion here about as well as you could hope, too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It was a very classical Western ending to a great story. The artwork is fantastic. Good job, you guys at AWA. I'm going to miss this book. So.
4 shields.
Linda Hamilton, has anyone contacted your agent about... You can tell us.
Yeah.
Come on. They have, haven't they? They have. Just looking forward to it.
All right, so Netflix show, hopefully in the near future.
I don't care who does it. I mean, we pretty much got every streaming service known to man, so we'll see it.
All right, so 4 shields out of 5. Redemption number 5.
Good stuff. Gonna miss it. At any rate, next week.
Next week, what we got?
Or this week, however you want to say it. For July the 7th, as always, there's quite a few books coming out. There's an Extreme Carnage, which I'm not a huge fan of the symbiotes, Venom, Carnage, but I know that book's going to sell well, so there you go. There's a Batman book, which we enjoy. We get to see Crush and Lobo number 2. We like number 1.
All right, that was good.
And, shocker here, there's a new X-Men number 1. Oh, no.
Yeah.
And,
okay, so
go ahead.
I mean, you would say, like, in general, I am an X-Men fan, but the current story that's going on in the comic books right now,
They've lost me.
yeah, I'm not so into it, so I don't know.
But
We're going to get X-Men number 1.
it's going to be a number 1, so it's a good launching point for a new storyline.
Yep.
Now, the downside is there's somewhere between 40 and 50 variations to the cover. How many are you going to get?
We're getting the 1.
Yeah, we're getting 1.
Yeah.
Already ordered it.
Yeah, not falling for it.
You're not going to go out and get...
Even if I could afford it, I wouldn't do it because it's just silly. So no.
I mean, I remember in 91 when that X-Men came out, and people were buying all the covers so they could make a scene. You could just buy the cover E, and it was a gatefold cover. You could see the whole scene in one book. You didn't have to buy all the other 4. But at any rate, people bought the heck out of it. It was a big seller. Anyway, moving on.
All right.
There's also a Master of the Universe number 1 coming out.
That's definitely a speculator comic.
Now, I'm not a huge fan of Master of the Universe, but I do appreciate how popular the character is. So, we're going to get it.
And we got a new, I think it's from Netflix. I think a new cartoon that's coming out. Trailer just dropped.
Is there a cartoon? I thought it was
well,
live action.
there's an animated thing coming out, but there's also a live action film that's coming out soon.
Brilliant.
So yeah, so they're really building it up. I remember like last week we had someone come to our sale and asking about the Superman versus He-Man from DC Presents. That we didn't have it, but they asked about it.
I'm on the hunt for it for him though.
Right.
All right. So also we have what used to be our favorite book. Not so much after the last issue. Space Bastards number 7.
Ah, yeah.
The guy that works on the creative team, I don't remember his name, who comments on the channel whenever we review his book. So thank you for sticking with it. And we're going to stick with it. We're still going to get it, even though we didn't like number 6. Bisley's painting.
Didn't care for it at all.
Now, this time, Bisley does pencils.
Right. Now, you're more familiar with his work. When he does pencils, is he better than he does with painting?
Oh, I'll be honest with you. I've seen some of his painting work that looked good.
Okay.
I just didn't think that was Space Bastards. But the old man kind of cheated this week. I've already flipped through a copy, and it does look noticeably better.
Okay.
So I don't regret that we decided to stick with it for a while.
All right.
All right. Now, for the things we're actually really looking forward to, pumped up about. Well, I don't know, maybe pumped up. All right, you have 2 post-apocalyptic stories.
Oh, all right.
One I think is way up the list for you is Noctera.
Ah, yeah.
Noctera number 5 comes out, the one about the shadowy people and shadowy creatures. That's a good book. And also, the radioactive man himself, Geiger.
Okay.
Number 4 comes out. Now,
I mean, I've been enjoying it, but I feel like it's been building up to something bigger. So hopefully, I don't know.
The way the storyline went with that pompous king in the last issue, that was wonderful. I enjoyed the heck out of that. Also, we have a book that Image has been promoting, and I'm hearing a lot of hype about the book. It's something called Ordinary Gods. Other than the fact it's an Image, it's number 1, and the title, I don't know anything about it, which is, I'm okay with that.
Okay.
So we'll check that out and see what we think. But the book I'm looking most forward to is the horror book that came out a couple weeks ago. The Nice House on the Lake, number 2 comes out. If you didn't read that, you missed it. Because you're probably going to have a hard time finding the number 1. And you probably are going to have to either pay a premium for it or wait for the trade, because it's a great sample of comic book writing and horror writing. I mean, you expect a twist in a book like that. And anybody who says they saw that coming, I'm telling you, you didn't see that coming. It was wonderful. Loved it. So those are the ones that we're really looking forward to, and I guess we'll find out.
All right.
See them next week.
So there's your picks for this week. Be sure to get them at your local comic book shop and get these issues from last week if you haven't already. All right, so we have some more celebrating to do with the birthday boy back up in the garage.
He's a dog. He don't know what a birthday is. At any rate.
All right, so let's head back up in there with Thor. All right, comic lovers, back out here in the garage with Thor on this beautiful day on Thor's birthday. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. All right, I have a special Thor-related Stump the Old Man question. All right, are you ready, buddy? Is the old man ready?
It doesn't matter if the old man's ready or not.
All right. The question is, what actor starred alongside Matt Damon in a hilarious scene in Thor Ragnarok as actor Thor?
Okay, well, it was real Thor? It was Hemsworth's brother. Is that good enough?
No.
Let's see. Ow. Oh, it's not a hard name. It's a one-syllable name. It's Luke. Luke Hemsworth.
Luke Hemsworth, yes. Chris's own brother. A guy that I've had the pleasure of working with. Great guy. All right, so.
Wait a minute. When did you work with him?
On River Runs Red.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I remember.
He was a great guy to work with. He was running around with these kids playing football in one scene, and I still wanted to go up to these kids like, "Hey kids, you recognize this guy? Like, you guys seen Thor Ragnarok? Remember when they're back on Asgard and he's doing the play with the guy with Matt Damon? That's him. That's Chris's brother."
Well, Chris's brother might have been what you needed to sell.
Well, I didn't want to insult him by saying, "Hey, you guys know this is Chris Hemsworth's brother, right?" That would be kind of insulting, right?
Maybe a little bit. Depends on how he feels about it.
All right, so there's one question. The old man wins this week. All right, that about does it for this episode. So, did you have a good birthday, Thor? Huh? Would you like another birthday cupcake? Nope. Break it apart on me.
He's messing with your cake.
There you go. Good boy.
Yummy.
I'm gonna wipe your slobber on your fur. How you like that?
Not cutting him up there anymore.
All right, so be sure to tune in next week. We're gonna have a lot of great comic reviews with you, and Thor back here with us again. And don't forget to check out a lot of the cool stuff happening on the channel. We have our Loki reaction videos every week. Things are heating up right now with Thor, with Loki and the TVA, and things are starting to unravel, right? Yes. Okay. And we have I have my show every Friday called Tales from the Set. Any person who's worked in production for any amount of time, like I have, they have a few stories to tell. So I have usually about 4 of them every week to share with you, stories from different production people who have lived, stories about the celebrities they've worked with, other production people who find themselves in unique situations, humorous situations, dangerous situations, all kinds of fun stuff. So be sure to tune in for that every week. Tales from the Set. All right, we'll see you guys next time. Excelsior.
True believers, tell me the truth. How many different copies of X-Men #1 are you going to get? Huh? Be honest.